Another week right here on Locked On Spurs, which means another visit by the doctor and a visit from our good friend from San Antonio and the only, hopefully crossing fingers, NBA 2K League player.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I am your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Kings Fight San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope you had a great New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and you're ready to start the new year with us right here on Locked On Spurs. And once again, we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. And this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Make sure to check out prizepicks.com. Use promo code Locked On. And first-time users can get themselves a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code Locked On. So, the Spurs have been relatively injury-free, which is good. But there is probably just one injury we're going to talk about. And we're going to make this very clear. We're using the injury report ahead of the Dallas game on New Year's Eve. So please keep that in mind as we proceed. And also, we're going to get the doctor's thoughts on the hit heard around the world from the NBA world, that is, when Detroit's Killian Hayes, retaliated against the Magic's Mo Wagner and hit him back of the head. What does that mean? Why is that so dangerous? And much, much more. So I was going to bring him on. He is Dr. Ryan McCorkle. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at AustinERDoc and on Instagram, AustinEMDoc. He is an ER doc at the St. David's Medical Center and Austin Emergency Center. And he's with the Backstage Medical and Concierge Medicine Practice. Doctor, Happy New Year. Hope you had a good one.
Happy New Year, Jeff. Yeah, it's good to be with you on the New Year's Eve.
Yeah, it's good chat with you. And, I guess good news is that the Spurs are relatively healthy free, no major injuries. Several players were held out of the game versus Dallas. Majority of them were just G League assignments. So there's that. But, I guess good thing, right, Doctor? Everybody seems to be okay.
Yeah, that's really good to have a fairly short injury report for once to talk about. Pretty healthy team heading into the new year.
Absolutely. There is one player that at least at the time of this recording was doubtful against Dallas, but he has been out for a couple of games now, and that is Devin Vassell. He's been dealing with left knee soreness, and I know you spoke about this, the Ryson treatment and whatnot, but fans would casually think, oh, soreness, my hand's sore right now, my knee's sore right now. Look at me, I'm still plugging away, I'm still going. But why would the Spurs, again, for those fans who did not hear your chat about soreness and the Ryson issue, why would the Spurs be so cautious to hold out Devin Vassell for so many games with just left knee soreness?
You don't want that injury process to escalate. So having some intermittent rest when it flares up and he's having some soreness can prevent a more major injury that has him out for an extended period of time. And if it is just like a tendonitis thing, it's not going to get better until he has like the whole off season to rest. So if we want him to still be able to play, he may have to take a game or two off every couple of weeks to manage that tendonitis soreness in that knee so that it doesn't escalate to him being out a much longer period of time. So I think it's a very cautious but reasonable approach to getting him through the season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Devin Vassell, he's key in the rebuild. I pretty safe to say that the Spurs see him as a big factor moving forward. And with the season, likely to end in a title or a deep playoff run, why not? What do you got to lose? Everything to gain, more chances at getting that number one pick, I guess. So there's that. But go ahead.
Yeah,
you're going to say
the load management and managing the career of somebody that we see as a long-term piece of the team. Definitely don't want to push that injury and then lose some valuable time and valuable experience with the other teammates, being out for an extended period. So just doing these short couple of games off every couple of weeks is a good approach to keeping him on the floor for the maximum amount of time overall.
And possibly too, the extended break. He had the previous game before the Dallas game off. As of this recording, we don't know if he's going to play against Dallas, but let's just, for sake of argument, say he's not. Then that gives him that day off. Then you got New Year's Day. Then there's travel to the New York swing because they'll be in New York City for the Nets and Knicks starting today, Monday. And I'd rather have him rested and ready to go against a Nets team that's just been on fire of late. I mean, 10 in a row for Brooklyn? Like, they just turned things around. So get one of the big guns ready. We were going to talk about Keita Bates-Diop, who was held out of the Dallas game. But we got a very nebulous injury report, and that is because it's just an injury illness, not COVID. So, as you joked before we press record, that can mean anything.
It is narrowed down to all of the disease processes in the world except for one. But no, given this time of year, the most common things are obviously it's high season for the flu. It's high season for every other respiratory virus that's not COVID. And we also see a lot of times during these travel periods, a lot of NBA players getting little stomach bugs where they get a little gastroenteritis with some vomiting, diarrhea symptoms. Very common during this part of the season. So any of those are possible, but those are probably the most likely.
I'm glad you brought that up. And I know I didn't let you know about this question, before I hit record, but I, one thing I always was curious about is a player's diet impact throughout the season because they travel so much. So you can expect Popovich to take them on the dinners. They're exposed to different restaurants, different foods, whether it be in New York or San Antonio or Mexico City or everybody between, from Charlotte to Miami. How critical is it for the Spurs to watch their players and what they eat?
Yeah, I really feel like this is a super important part of player development, and it really contributes to the arc of a player's career. Mm-hmm. It is usually not until their late 20s that NBA players come to the realization that they cannot eat like they did their entire teenage years and early 20s and continue to perform at a high level. I think LeBron is the pinnacle of that, of showing younger players what is possible when you pay attention to taking care of your body and your nutrition. But so many of NBA players just came from eating, they burn so many calories every day playing ball at such a high level, they can eat whatever they want until you reach a certain point. And then you either make that decision and adopt those healthy eating habits, pay real strict attention to your nutrition, and then have a extended, excellent career and go to another level, or you don't. And a lot of players flame out. I think, I lived in Orlando and practiced there for my first 5 years. And I think Gilbert Arenas was one of the biggest examples of that. He was, incredible, Agent Zero for, in Washington, and a huge signing for the Magic, but never really got the nutrition piece. And he was just famous that he would just eat like gummy bears and chicken wings and fried foods and candy before a game and all the time. And he could do that all the way up until he was about 26, and then it just fell off a cliff. And then famously for the Mavericks, for the Magic, he was, getting paid $20 million a season to kind of hang out at the mall and not play.
Yeah.
So a big piece of that was nutrition. So a lot of people are looking at Luka Doncic right now. It's just the incredible things that he does. But, he's still in that. People see him come back from the off season a little bit overweight, eating whatever he wants, having recovery beers after his 60-point game.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
No. I was going to say, I'm glad you brought that up because I did want to ask you about beer because, well, you know what? Hold that thought. Let's take a break. When we get back, we're going to ask Dr. Ryan McCorkle about recovery beer, quote unquote, but there are fans and casual athletes or, the everyday man or woman that goes out there and says, well, I'm done my workout, I'm going to have a beer. How good or bad is that? Right here on Locked On Spurs with Dr. Ryan McCorkle in just a few minutes as well. We're going to have our second guest. He is Donovan Mass from the NBA 2K League, or NBA 2K League hopeful, but he is also from San Antonio, and he's an airman at Lackland Air Force Base, and he is trying his best to make it into the NBA 2K League and rep San Antonio. We're going to be talking to him later on once we're done here with Dr. Ryan McCorkle. Follow him on Twitter at AustinER. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about Prize Picks. Like, you got to get Prize Picks right now. It's the best. It's just the best thing you can do for yourself. You just have some fun and get into more sports as you probably are already. Look, here's how it works. You pick 2 to 6 players, and if they go on to score more or less than their Prize Pick projection, you go in up to 25 times your money. That easy. No competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. Prize Picks offers projections on any sport you watch, which includes NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, PGA, college football, men's college basketball, women's college basketball, soccer, WNBA, esports, and hey, we're having an esports player in a few minutes, as well as disc golf, Eurobasket, cricket, and more. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. Safe and fast withdrawals, currently operational in over 30 states in Canada. Download the Prize Picks app right now or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First time users can get themselves 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code Locked On. You deposit 100, Prize Pick gives you 100. You deposit $50, Prize Picks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter promo code Locked On and sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100.
Autobots, roll out!
We're back right here with Dr. Ryan McCorkle. He is stopping by for his weekly visit to talk all things on the health side of the San Antonio Spurs, as well as just an NBA. And I'll pass on some nice, helpful tips for you as well. And again, we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Follow Dr. Ryan McCorkle on Twitter at AustinER. So recovery beer, that was the big meme that went around that you were talking about right before we hit the break with Luka Doncic. You know, he had that historic triple-double. You know, maybe, he was being kidding, but I don't think he was. I think he literally was given beer. I think they shot pictures of his locker room filled with beer. But all jokes aside, you hear Doncic saying, "I'm getting a beer." Somebody runs a marathon or a half marathon, say, "Well, we're going to stop by the bar now and drink a beer." Is that really healthy? I mean, is that okay considering Doncic just played 48 and then some minutes of basketball? Somebody runs a marathon or a half marathon, they drink a beer. Good or bad?
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a recovery beer, if you will, in Luka's terms. It's not the best nutrition, but everything in moderation, right? So
right.
One beer is, nothing wrong with that at all. All things in moderation. So that is an okay thing to do. It's just not, beer is very calorie laden, and
yes.
If it's something you're doing all the time, then again, that's not moderation, and that can start to affect you long term. But one recovery beer after running a marathon or having a game, there's nothing wrong with that, and that I would not discourage that in any way. I think Larry Bird used to famously have his post game beer as well.
Right. Yeah. I think everybody's still recovering from the plenty of beers they had for the New Year's Eve party as we speak right now. Still recovering from that night. But yeah, I was just curious to get your thoughts on that. You hear, fans and Doncic, and he's mentioned Bird, and people say, "Oh, I'm gonna have a beer after my workout." You're right. I mean, in moderation. But one thing that wasn't in moderation was the temper of Killian Hayes, the Pistons player, and Mo Wagner, the Magic, got into a tussle recently. It escalated to the point they split it to the bench. The Pistons bench, that is, and then Killian Hayes got up and they tried to hold him back, but he went at him, threw an elbow at Wagner's back of the head, neck, and you just see from the video Wagner just drop. When you saw the video, Doctor, what were your thoughts? Why was that so dangerous?
Well, it looked very concerning on first view, because it looked like pretty clearly that he just lost consciousness. And was unconscious as he fell, and the Pistons players caught him before he hit the ground. Didn't look like he had his hands up or anything. That if they hadn't been standing there, that he would have just gone face first into the ground. anytime you lose consciousness with a blow to the back of the head like that, it's very concerning. I'm sure he got a CT looking for any kind of subdural, epidural, or subarachnoid hemorrhage, which was fine, and probably even got an MRI being an NBA player. And but the real concern there is losing consciousness with a direct blow to the head. That's that would go into the concussion protocol anywhere in any sport. And, with no head protection for basketball players, it's even more concerning.
Right. Yeah, when you saw that, I mean, as a doctor, you must have been like, your heightened senses going off and like, oh my God, is he okay? What do I have to do to make sure he's all right? Because it just looked ugly.
Yes, I mean, get him into the CT scanner as quickly as possible and make sure that there's not some kind of subarachnoid hemorrhage there, or that was seeing him unconscious as he went down was pretty concerning. So I'm glad that he's doing okay, and he'll be in a concussion protocol. But I guess that will be that concussion protocol will play out during his suspension. So
right, yeah, so he'll definitely be all right. I mean, that type of blow is even outlawed in combat sports. From boxing, you hear the rabbit punches. Watch your rabbit punches. MMA, same thing. So if the combat sports realize that type of punch is it's just bad news, then yeah, you could definitely see why the NBA took action. Yeah, Killian Hayes got suspended for 3 games, and I think Wagner got suspended for 2 because he was before the hit was involved in the altercation. But yeah, not a good thing. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, when I saw that hit, my first thought was like, oh my God, I got to talk to Dr. Ryan about this one. This is going to be a good one. So
yeah, that was a very alarming hit, and the way he reacted and fell with his arms to his side and clearly unconscious as he went down. That was I agree. That was a very medically concern.
Does it take much? Because you look at the elbow thrown, it didn't look like it was like a full-on power shot. I mean, it hit him hard enough to do for Wagner to drop. But how much does it take for how much force would it take for a human to have the same effect? I mean, just light force. I mean, what's the degree of it?
No, it usually takes quite a bit of force for you to lose consciousness or have one of those brain bleeds we were talking about. But, if you're not on blood thinners or have some other kind of underlying problem, it usually takes quite a bit of force to knock you unconscious like that.
All right. There you have it. Dr. Ryan's thoughts on the elbow from Killian Hayes to Mo Wagner. But let's end up his segment on a fun note, though, and talk jerseys. Yes, we all know Dr. Ryan McCorkle is a big sneakerhead. He makes no bones about it. You go to his Instagram page, AustinEM.doc. You'll see it for yourself. He even shared some on Locked On Spurs, and especially for the YouTube side of Locked On Spurs. The YouTube side, you get to see photos of the heat on that feet that Dr. Ryan has, but he also is a fan of jerseys. How's your jersey collection? What's in it? Any Spurs in there?
Absolutely, there's Spurs in there. Tim Duncan was my second jersey to get. Larry Bird was my first. I was always number 33 when I played, and that was because of Bird. So that was the first one that I got. But second one was definitely Tim. An autographed jersey of both of them. Have it framed and in my workout room. And then after that, even though he was one of our biggest nemesis as Spurs fans, just really grew to have a lot of respect for Dirk Nowitzki and his same kind of loyalty to a Texas team like Tim had for the Spurs. And so I got a Dirk jersey after that. And then I think I mentioned earlier that I was practiced in Orlando for the first 5 years of my career after residency, and I had Magic season tickets. All of my friends there that shared the season tickets knew that I wore my Magic gear for every game except for one. That's when the Spurs came to town, that I was in my full Spurs gear. But I got a jersey signed by the whole 2009 finals team against the Lakers with the Orlando Magic, and then a picture with JJ Redick. There, that's when folks see the picture, that will probably go up on Twitter and Instagram. JJ and I, in the bottom left of that team autographed Orlando jersey. And then I have my jerseys from the CBA, from college basketball, and my high school jerseys. And those are all framed around my little workout room. So got a little collection going. I think my next ones I want to add are a Luka jersey, Jokic, and a Kevin Durant UT Longhorn. So those are the next three I have my eye on.
When you say Luka, you're talking about Luka Samanic, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Former Spur.
Yeah. You see him, this is kind of a running joke. He's like all world on the G League, but he's playing for the G League's team, the team affiliated with the Boston Celtics. And he recently posted like some incredible stat line, right? It was like near 30 points and double figure rebounds. But he does that all the time in the G League, but he never can do that in the NBA. I mean, he was even putting up those numbers for the Knicks G League team, and they didn't even call him up. The Knicks didn't call him up. But, yeah.
It's like the Jimmer Fredette disease, right? You can just
exactly.
Not quite to that NBA level.
Yeah, I know, but it sounds like you got a collection of jerseys there. And are you which jersey from the Spurs set, the new set for this year, do you like the best? You got the City Edition, which is the Fiesta colors. You got the ABA look, and then you have everybody's favorite, quote unquote, the statement jersey with the SATX and the Mexican serape pattern on the side. Which is your favorite?
I mean, it's going to sound like the old man that I am, but the ABA throwback, I think, is just really clean, and it's a great design. I love it. I got no problem with the other ones. I think it's nice to introduce a new color with the Fiesta, the Fiesta kind of teal, and then I do like the SATX. I know it's been controversial, but I think it's a good look. I think But by far my favorite is that old school ABA George Gervin, throwback look.
Yeah, I'm with you. I definitely like that ABA look. It's not. A lot of fans think it's an exact duplicate of the ABA. It's not. The color pattern on the lettering is off. So it's not. It's not an exact duplicate, but it is damn near close to it. But good jerseys all around. I'm starting to warm up to the statement edition jerseys, the SATX ones, little by little. When I saw the players in it, I was like, oh, it's not too horrible. But no, I'm a big fan for that classic edition. But man, look, go figure, Dr. Ryan. You can open up a store soon, Dr. Ryan. Just a sneaker store, jersey store. That's what you're gonna do. I'm gonna bring you on one day. You're gonna tell me I'm not doctor anymore. I'm retired. I'm now sneakerhead Ryan McCorkle.
From your lips to God's ears, I would be all right with that. That would be a pretty fun career pivot right there.
I bet, yeah. But once again, we want to thank Dr. Ryan McCorkle for hopping on this episode of Locked On Spurs. Again, follow him on Twitter at AustinERDoc and on Instagram, AustinEMDoc. Once again, he's a ER doc at the St. David's Medical Center and the Austin Emergency Center, and he's also with the Backstage Medical and Concierge Medicine Practice. What's going on with Backstage?
We have a lot of shows coming up here in Austin at the venues that I cover around town at ACL Live and Moody Theater at Moody Center on the UT campus and Stubbs. So we have a lot of shows coming up, especially a couple here tonight, even for New Year's Eve. So a lot of stuff going on with Backstage Medical. I got my two new pair of Christmas sneakers I got to share with our listeners too. I'll put
what you got?
Up. I got some dunks that I aged and have my college number on the side that I kind of customized. And then my two 12-year-old twins customized a pair of Jordan 1s for me too, just their own kind of vision. And you said rainbow drip was the theme. So it's got running rainbow colors all over it. I'll put pictures up there, but they were pretty proud that they made me some custom sneakers for Dad for Christmas.
Rainbow Drip. Is that your basketball name on your jersey? Rainbow Drip.
That's got to be my new screen name, doesn't it? I think I got to be your screen name.
Exactly, Rainbow Drip. Once again, thanks again to Dr. Ryan McCorkle for hopping on and making his weekly visit right here on Locked On Spurs, talk all things medical issues with the Spurs and the NBA, and even some sneaker and jersey talk, as always. When we get back, we're going to go ahead and bring in our next guest. He is Donovan Mass. He is the first ever amateur NBA 2K League Player of the Year award, and right from San Antonio. He's an airman at Lackland Air Force Base. He's going to be talking about his path to getting back to the NBA 2K League. He is going into the 2023. I'm sorry, 2020. Yeah, no, 2023. Yep, NBA draft. Not used to the year change yet, Doctor. And 2023 NBA 2K League draft. What his path? Has he got any interviews? And he's asking all Spurs fans to help him out in his next step to making his personal, professional dreams come true. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about Built Bar. Hey, look, you're looking for a delicious treat. You don't want all the fat, all the calories, and you got to try a Built Bar. We just got through the holidays. You know, if your goal is to eat a little healthier this year, well, then that's where Built Bar comes in. But you don't also want to compromise taste when you got, that going for you. You love delicious foods. Look, you got to try Built. With Built, it's healthy. It's actually tasty. Seriously, they're delicious. You won't think they're good for you. Perfect for the New Year's resolution. What makes Built Bar so good? Well, for starters, they're covered 100% real chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. Come in unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter, brownie, and coconut almond. I don't know how Built does it, but they do. They taste just like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is that they are healthy for you. 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, whopping 17 grams of protein. Look, don't wait around. Get yourself a box right now. Go to Built.com. Order them right now, Built.com. You also get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. That's right. Head to the nearest Walmart today. Walk to the pharmacy section. Grab yourself a box of Built bars. And yeah, you can also pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puff. If you're close to a Sam's Club, run in, grab a 13-bar box with our favorite flavors, brownie, batter, and churro. You can thank me later.
Autobots, roll out!
All right, and now we're joined by San Antonio's very own, and hopefully will be in the NBA 2K League next season. He is Donovan Mass, a.k.a. Seldom. Seldom, welcome back to Locked On Spurs.
What's going on, man? I'm glad to be back. I appreciate it.
Not a problem, man. Hey, so let's catch up for a few seconds here. How you been?
I've been good, man. I've been I took a little celebration stuff when I came back to San Antonio. Shout out to Burnhouse. They opened up to welcome me with open arms. I've had my little together and stuff there with all my friends, and a few people got to meet a few people and stuff. So San Antonio, they treated me very well. And honestly, I've just been working on my game, getting prepared for this year.
Yeah. Where's that Amateur of the Year trophy? Is it still constantly shining bright on above the mantle place there? Where is it at?
Oh yeah, every time I load up, I have my PC set up, and then right up top, I got my little like accolades and stuff, and it's right there in the front, right there in the middle. I kind of like tell myself like, every time I load up and start playing the game, like, hey, this is you. Like, don't forget, you're the best player, one of the best players in the world. You're amateur of the year.
Right. That's right. In case anybody does not know, Donovan Mass is an airman at Lackland Air Force Base out in San Antonio, and he and his team, Rim Runners, last season made a significant push as the amateur team in the NBA 2K League 3v3 playoffs. Really was a Cinderella story, but that's where Donovan really opened eyes, really got on the radar of a lot of teams, and won the first ever. That is, let's make that very clear, Donovan. The first ever NBA 2K League, amateur.
Right. I'm in the history books.
You're in the history books, yeah. So, by the way, how was the reception from San Antonio at that party? People come out to just say congrats.
Oh yeah, it was sold out. The owner told me that the whole club was sold out and stuff, and like they had max capacity. They had they couldn't allow any more people in, so it was definitely a great turnout.
Yeah, what were fans telling you?
They were just saying congratulations and trying to buy me shots and stuff, and just asking like what my plans are and stuff like that. So I was just like, okay, kind of just taking it all in, kind of happy to be back.
Yeah, and once again, Donovan, he's no stranger to Locked On Spurs. He usually hops on every once in a while to give us an update on his journey to the NBA 2K League. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into that. Okay. Everybody, Donovan is not in the NBA 2K League, but he has experience playing for a couple teams last year. I think it was a Cavs Legion, and what was the other one? Was it Blazer 5?
Blazer 5, yes.
Blazer 5 and Cavs Legion. So he has NBA 2K League experience. As mentioned, he is the NBA 2K League Amateur of the Year. The first ever NBA 2K League Amateur of the Year award winner. And now he's looking to become a full-time NBA 2K League player. So how is the draft process going? Give us an update.
So we just got done doing the combine a few weeks ago and stuff. So kind of like, everyone has gotten to the pool and eligible to get drafted this year. We all play in the pool and just compete and stuff. We play about, I think, a total of 32 games that we play. And then after that, you do that process. Of course, do background checks, make sure you're good to go,
Right.
eligible to play and stuff, etc. And then after that, I think some coaches and some teams are starting to do interviews and stuff now. Some of them are waiting till after New Year's so they can be able to get a new mindset going into 2023. But I'm really confident this year. I feel like this is the year. I've been working my butt off. Sacrificing some sleep just to play the game longer. So I'm just excited for the next journey.
Have you been on interviews yet?
Yes, I was on one interview so far. I have a couple more interviews scheduled going into 2023 in January. Because the draft's actually really close this year. It's January 26th. So it's really close this year. But just trying to get marketable, get myself out there as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then January 13th through the 15th, kind of like, the amateur scene, how I talked about the last time I was on, how to get yourself known as a top player in the community. They're having a little tournament in Dallas, Texas for $30,000. So I'm going to go there to go play and compete with my teammates and stuff. And a lot of scouts and NBA scouts are going to be there and stuff. So we're going to try our best, try to win some money.
Who have you interviewed with?
Well, I don't know if I'm able to say it, but if
okay,
I'm able, but I know that who I've interviewed with is that I don't know if I can say it or not. I have to ask.
All right,
honestly.
But how about this? Instead of revealing the names of the teams, what have the teams told you in those interviews about you and your potential?
They just told me that to keep working hard and that this is the final push, and that they're interested in me for a reason, and they just want to see how I finish the last days upcoming for the draft and stuff, and make sure I don't get complacent.
Right.
So pretty much that's all I got and stuff, and that pretty much that if I have any questions, and that they're gonna have a second interview with me and talk more about what's going on with me and any self improvement and stuff like that, and any questions about them and their organization. So it's been I would say it's been a handful. Like I'm gonna say the handful, but it's like this. I would say the interviews from last year to this year is a whole lot different. I feel like they're more intrigued by as me as a player than just kind of just quick questions and stuff. They're like, all right, cool, thank you for your time and stuff like that. It seems like they're more like informative about living and allowances and like how they work for their organization and stuff like that.
How important or how useful has it been for you in this interview process, this draft go around, where you have NBA 2K League experience? You mentioned you played with two pro teams, and you had the deep push with Team Rim Runners.
Right. It's a big impact, especially the 3v3 run that I made and stuff. I always like to bloat to them when it comes to that. I always tell them like, we were an amateur team. We made $50,000, and basically in that whole season we were ranked 11th place out of 26 organizations. To be ranked 11th place. That's a big thing. If I've beaten 15 other organizations by myself by playing one mode and only had a chance at one time to be able to make money, then that's a big thing. That's like to pretty much show that I'm one of the best players in the world and stuff. So I always remind them that out of I always I hinted out of 26 organizations that had, I would say, about 6 times. That means the 5v5 and 3v3, they had 6 times to make some money and opportunities to make some money. I came in one time into the playoffs and made $50,000 in my one run that I had and stuff. So I always tell them that I'm definitely going to bring some money to the organization. So don't sleep on me.
Yeah, exactly. How much of a life changer will it be for you should you get drafted?
Definitely a life changer. Definitely open some new doors for the Air Force wide and stuff, and kind of like gaming wise and stuff. We have an Air Force gaming team and etc. Hopefully, it helps can expand where that possibly other branches like Navy, Marines, Army, etc. like that. They can start growing, get to that stuff, and see if they can get a better look at it, because I actually will be inside of the league. And then kind of just I feel like that a lot of companies as well and stuff, they may like someone that's serving their country and getting buckets on and off the court. So so it's always, I feel like it just expands and broadens the the viewership for people wanting to watch, especially military watch. I think military watch for the 2K League stuff when I was in the 3v3 playoffs, a lot of them was very was tuned in, watching, and supporting. And so,
Another thing too, how big will it be for you to become the second player from San Antonio to make it into the league, and the example you're going to set for the Spurs, to hopefully get on board with the league, and just for amateur players in San Antonio to see you as an example that, hey, a player can make it.
I feel like it's a very, very big deal, and I always like to say that as well. It's a huge deal for me to be able to make some more history and kind of be that set, that set in stone to kind of set the what's the word I'm looking for?
Like the example?
Yeah, like basically set the example on that. You can do it. You can just keep pushing and keep fighting and always put in the hard work and just kind of just be that vocal point especially for the Spurs, because I wanted them to get into the league next year. I'm praying and hoping they get into the league next year and stuff. And kind of like just to be like an inspiration and be like be the first actively military player to get into the league. Like that's another history. It's like, look, I'm the first ever to the year and I'm the first active. Like that's 2 in the history book right there. So it's just like I'm just trying to. I would say it's not just for me. I want to do it for everyone that has the opportunity but don't really know about it, and then they can have opportunity to do it as well. So it's not just about me. I've always told people that it's bigger than me, and that yes, it's always great to be able to have it for you, but I'm thinking of the bigger picture of how to help the league grow as much as possible.
Yeah. Well, are you nervous with the draft right around the corner?
Oh no, I'm not nervous. I took $50,000 from for some of the organizations. I'm not nervous at all. I'm just happy to be part of the process. If they don't take me this year, then I guess I'll take another $50,000 from them. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I saw you play last season in that playoff run we had with Rim Runners. I mean, it was incredible. You're breaking records. Beating teams that nobody thought that Rim Runners would beat, and there you were in the middle of things. You definitely have a great future ahead in pro gaming, whether it be in the NBA 2K League or elsewhere. But I think all signs are pointing to the fact that you are on a lot of teams' radars. I did an interview recently with another team GM, and they were aware with you. They are aware of you and your skills. I'll tell you that much. So I did ask them about you, and they said, "Yep, we're aware of Mr. Seldom." Seldom, before we put a wrap on this quick chat with you, catch up with you. First of all, I want to say good luck to you. Hopefully, I mean, I'll be shocked if a team does not pick you up based on your skill set, what you did last season as an amateur, what you did as for a pro player, even if it was temporarily for 2 teams. You definitely are going to make an impact. How can Spurs fans, NBA 2K League fans, and just gaming fans support you with the draft right around the corner?
So you guys can follow me on Twitter at seldom_, or you can follow me on Instagram, DINOMASS5. I stream on Twitch. Both of my links are on both Instagram and Twitter. So if you want to just, whenever I tune in and start playing, y'all can just come and support. Definitely be much appreciated. I really thank all the support from last year as well. You guys made the experience for me, especially me coming back was the best experience that I've had in a long time. So I'm really grateful for the Spurs fans, San Antonio community. I want to thank you guys for everything that you guys do.
And hopefully we'll have another party in San Antonio when you get drafted.
Oh,
we had a party already.
A
party for the amateur award. Now we got to have a party for you getting drafted.
Let me tell you something. If I get drafted, bottles are going to be popped. I don't care where we're going. Bottles is going to get popped. I don't care.
Another reason why you can follow Seldom on social media, so you know when that party's going to happen, so you can be part of the poppy. Seldom, once again, thanks for joining me here on Locked On Spurs. And again, good luck to you. I'm pretty sure, I'm more than positive you're going to get picked by an NBA 2K League team. And hopefully you'll let me break the news, as you always do, which team is going to select you, if that does happen. But once again, he is Seldom Donovan Mass from San Antonio, a potential NBA 2K League player. And for Seldom and our previous guest on this episode of Locked On Spurs, Dr. Ryan McCorkle, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.